Welcome to 10-Minute Sales Training, practical sales training for everyday reps. This is short, focused coaching you can use immediately. Whether you're on the way to a meeting, in between calls, or building a team, let's get into it. In this episode, we're talking about the importance of commitment. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that new sales reps make really has nothing to do with skill. It has to do with the time horizon. So they evaluate their career too early in its life cycle. They might have a few bad weeks and they start to doubt things. They might have a slow month and they start to panic. They get 2 rejected deals and they think, well, maybe this isn't for me. But here's the thing, sales does not reward short emotional timelines. It rewards long-term commitment. So here's a principle that can really change your trajectory. Commit to 1 year, not a month, not 1 quarter. You need 1 full year of disciplined effort. Now let's clarify what that really means. It does not mean blindly grinding without thinking, and it doesn't mean ignoring results. What it means is giving the profession a fair sample size of your focused effort. Now let's think about this. If it takes 3 to 6 months just to become comfortable with your product, with your script, with your processes, and then another 3 to 6 months to build the rhythm and the confidence and the pipeline, then why would you judge your potential after 2 weeks, after 2 months? Most sales reps quit in that uncomfortable middle part. It's the stage when you're no longer brand new, but you're not actually confident yet. It's the middle phase where the development really starts to happen. And development is not always fun and it's not always glamorous. All right, quick break, then we'll jump back into the practical side of this. So let's break this down practically. In month 1 to 2, you're feeling overwhelmed. You're learning systems, you're learning the language of the industry, you're learning expectations. You're not supposed to be an elite here. Then in month 3 to 6, typically, you start recognizing patterns. You start to hear and recognize those common objections. And you've made enough calls that the fear starts to reduce. And you begin to see what's working and what really doesn't. Now, in months 6 to 12, that's when things really start to compound. You have follow-ups from earlier conversations. You start to understand your numbers better. And you can anticipate conversations instead of just reacting to them. And that is where the confidence becomes earned instead of forced. But you only get here if you stay. So here's another important piece of information. A 1-year commitment forces you to mature. When you know quitting isn't an option for 12 months, your behavior starts to change. So instead of asking yourself questions like, should I do this? You start asking, how can I get better at this? And that shift alone is powerful. And now let's talk about effort. Committing for 1 year only works if the effort is really there. If you dabble for 12 months, you're going to get average results. But if you commit to things like consistent daily activity and weekly skill improvement and tracking your numbers and reviewing your performance honestly for yourself, you will not be the same rep at the end of the 12 months. Even if your income hasn't exploded yet, you will have a stronger foundation to work from, because a strong foundation will determine your ceiling. Then there's also the psychological benefit to long-term commitment. Sales can feel unstable early on because income fluctuates and your confidence and your pipeline fluctuates. But if your mindset is, I'm here for the year, then those fluctuations won't shake you as much. You stop reacting emotionally to the short-term dips. You're able to zoom out better and ask better questions, like what skill am I lacking? Where am I losing deals? And is my activity consistent? Instead of saying to yourself, well, maybe I'm not cut out for this. So let's give you an example. Imagine there are 2 reps starting at the same time. Rep A treats sales like a trial run. They give it 60 to 90 days. They don't work consistently. When results are slow, they check out mentally. But Rep B commits to 1 full year, even when it's uncomfortable and even when the numbers are slow. Rep B tracks activity daily and adjusts monthly and looks for feedback. And at the end of 1 year, Rep B is almost unrecognizable compared to day 1. Now Rep A likely moved on to something else, or stayed average. Because time in the profession does matter, but only if it's active time. Now, here's an important reminder. Committing to 1 year with a profession doesn't mean that you have to tolerate a toxic environment. It doesn't mean you ignore red flags. It means you don't quit just because the early phase is hard. Because sales is simple, but it is not easy. And being not easy means that you need endurance. So, here's the assignment. If you are in your first few years, make a quiet decision to yourself. For the next 12 months, say, I will show up, I will execute, I will improve, I will track, I will not make emotional career decisions. Now, mark the date 1 year from now. And now your job is to focus on daily execution. Because when you stretch that time horizon, the pressure on yourself is going to decrease. And when pressure decreases, performance actually improves. Most people don't fail at sales. They quit before it can compound. So stay long enough to see that compounding and commit for 1 year. All right, that's it. If this episode was helpful, send it to someone on your team. And if you're leading a sales team, feel free to use it in your next training session. If you'd like to support the show, you can find that link in the show notes. Sales is simple, but it's not easy. The more intentional you are, the better you get. I'll see you in the next one.